Greetings and blessings and welcome. I greet you all with the love and the honor that you deserve and should receive from the infinite creator, from the source that is the source of us all, and that each and every one of you will receive these gifts from the universe. I welcome you. I am your humble servant, your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I thank you for coming. I am very humbled by all of the activities that are associated with this YouTube video thing of mine. And it's because of you all that I continue to do these videos. And it's because of the fact that there are people out there who wish to have more information about the shamanic journey. What is a shaman? What does it mean? All of the above. And I find that the interest in it is astounding. Now, I have a small channel here on YouTube, and I'm very grateful for it. And thank you all for subscribing. And this station, this channel is not about clicks and likes and so forth. It's about information. And for those people who seek the information, you will find it. That's my purpose. So with that said, my little introduction of 1 minute and 30 seconds or so, I again greet you with love and honor from the infinite creator to all of you who watch this. So let me go on with the subject at hand here. Now, I've had discussions about faith before, faith in religion, faith in this, faith in that, faith, blah, blah, faith. Okay, many people that are religious, and I mean religious being tied to a religion, not spiritual, which is, in my opinion, separate. And so many religious people are spiritual, but most people who are spiritual aren't necessarily religious. Okay, so with that said, now to a shaman can accept all forms of spirituality. Now, they may not accept the dogma. In other words, the Catholic Church and all the sacraments. And being, raised Catholic and graduating Tampa Catholic High School in 1970, I've got a lot of information, and I grew up in this, so I know what's going on about that. And this discussion isn't about anything about the Catholic Church per se. But with the idea that people who want to find a spiritualism, they want to find their higher self, they want to understand what does being a shaman mean? Well, in my previous videos, I basically described shamanism, or a shaman, as a person who is on a spiritual journey, a spiritual quest, if you will, and having nothing to do specifically with religion. Now, as far as my own shaman journey, I was raised Catholic, so therefore I have this Catholic Christian Bible background. But then I studied Buddha, I studied all other forms of religions and higher realms of thinking, and I've had training with medicine people, both men and women, and with healers and, etc. So my experience has been that I've met these people, physically touched, shook hands, hugged, etc. And we share information, what those small things that I may know. And a lot of times the teachers will learn by their students, by their pupils. And they learn because the pupil asks a question. You all in the chat room sometimes will ask for a question or, whatever. And I love to respond in that, because sometimes it will tax my memory in that, well, you've got a point there. What do you mean by that, Hawkeye? Or what about this? How does this fit in? And so it stimulates my old brain for my own self. And in my journey at being 66 years old now, I look back on my journey and I go, wow, I've been at this, 45, 55 years and counting. So do I know everything about what's going on? No. And any shaman that's worth his grain of salt will obviously, or should tell you right off the bat, I am a shaman in training. because although I may understand more of the universe and the forces and so forth in the universe, only a fool would state that they know it all, because that's just ain't going to happen. So there are those people that I've studied with, and there were a couple who were very arrogant, if you will, that I see over there, Quartz. I can't read. Greetings from the eastern northwest Washington, Spokane Valley. I have a friend of mine that lives up that way, Quartz. And if I ever got back out to Washington, I thought Spokane Valley was interesting in itself. But anyway, um, uh, I'd love to come back to Washington and trips around a little bit. I only spent 3 days there, but the 3 days I was there, I was like, I had a ball on Mount Rainier, for example. But anyway, I digress. That's why I hate to read the chat. I go off on a tangent. But anyway, I love you, Quartz. Thank you very much. And anybody else who may be out there right now. So greetings, 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 blessings to all. But I want to discuss faith in something in sort of a different realm, if you will, with the shamanic journey, or a shaman's journey. The word shamanic is, I don't know, it seems a little rough around the edges to me. A shaman's journey, apostrophe S kind of thing. But anyway, so you have to have a core value. And I'm just going to briefly explain that for someone who might not have seen one of the other videos, in that you must know within your own heart, you must have compassion for other people before yourself. You must, have kindness and honesty, personal integrity. There are certain just key values, and if you don't possess these things, or for some reason, it's like, well, that's silly. Why should I help somebody else? This is mine, then you're not necessarily cut out to be a shaman, because a shaman will know that spirituality is the goal, and to help other beings in any way, shape, or form within reason. We have to, we've got our tolerances. Now, there are those people, though, there are people who are millionaires who are kind, but hoard money like you just wouldn't believe. But they do show kindness. So it's like, yeah, well, I earned it and it's mine, and I don't want to give it all out. And, where would I be if I gave all my money away? Well, you might be even richer because you gave away what you've had. Sometimes when you give away, you receive twice in return. But anyway, so let's stick with the faith thing. Faith in the belief of the universe. And Hawkeye, what do you mean? Well, I'm fixing to go down this rabbit hole. Now, I've spoken before about, you've got to be able to sit with a tree and meditate with a tree. Understand that it is at least possible if you don't achieve it right away. Understand that all matter is connected one way or another. And you have to have faith that this is true. And as you start to connect with the universe with your own meditation, when you follow certain key steps, when you do certain things so that it will make you more aware of them. If you say, well, Hawkeye, I don't need to communicate with the tree, then never mind. Because you've just shut off one of the best means of communication with Mother Earth and with the universe. And you go, well, I don't really need to sit under a tree. Well, then shame on you, I must say, because you're cutting yourself off at the knees, and you consider yourself wanting to go on a spiritual journey. Well, until you understand that all things are connected, and I don't think that's really important. Now, I'm not suggesting you got to go out and talk to them all the time, but if you won't even consider, or if you try to, shut the conversation off, and it's not my conversation, because these are the basics that are necessary. And if you don't wish to follow the rules of nature, then you're not going to achieve what you think you're going to achieve. Now, but there's a little bit more to that. You may have faith in other things, and it may lead you at a further point in your spiritual development to where you say, I now understand what Hawkeye meant, and I need a tree. I need to go sit under a tree. I now have more information through my whatever means they may be using to achieve their higher awareness or cards or meditate, whatever. And I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying whatever they use to get there with, whether it's the Bible or another book or something. But if you're achieving a higher realm of reality, then where you may have thought a tree was nonsense, you now understand that, oh my God, this God creator put these things here for many reasons, you know, for us to sit under, for and communicate and whoa, whoa, whoa. So with that, I bring up the word faith again and beliefs, because you have to have faith that it is possible. And then when you find out how possible it is, then you have to have faith in the tree and the messages that you get from Mother Earth through the meditation with the tree. So you have to believe that it's possible, and you have to have faith in the tree, you know. So you got to, there's these building blocks here. You got to, they kind of come hand in hand, you know. But once you achieve one thing, the other will kind of slip in and follow through. So, and that's important. So it's like, well, faith. Well, faith in what else? Faith in the universe. If you think that your world is just this planet, or maybe even just our solar system, then you are really, you're really taking baby steps. Now, that's a good thing, but you must extend your belief system, and you must extend your faith in more than just our sun, our planet, our atmosphere, you know, okay, our little part of the universe here. When you look up outside, it's raining down here in Southwest Georgia at the moment. Kind of loud up there on the tin roof, but I don't think you can hear it on the microphone. But anyway, um, and y'all stay warm and bundled up and everything. We in for some more, you know, nasty weather. But anyway, stay on topic, Dave. But with the belief system, though, you have to understand that there is so much more. Now, it's not important. Let me take that that negative speech out of there. It is more important for you to understand that there are infinite possibilities. What's less important is how it works, because as you progress with your meditation and with your journey, if you follow the rules of nature, then you will become more shamanic. I hate that word, I really do. More of a shaman, if you will, than other folk, because you are aware that with your own belief and faith in the universe, which means then now you're connected to source, and you believe source exists, and source created us all, and we're a part of this giant spider web of energy throughout the universe that is not a matrix, um, but is definitely part of the universe that's started beyond time. And you have to say, well, I may not understand it, but I understand that it could exist. And if I sit and meditate with an open mind, and I allow my faith to say, Creator says there's more than this. Creator says, you know, if when you start with your core belief. So you start with your faith and your belief in those two things, that it's at least possible. So then as you meditate and as you seek out these things, as you allow, when you talk to a tree, you're going to, you know, you may get the download of your life about Mother Earth and things in the universe, because trees are connected with their roots to Mother Earth. So they are you want to get in touch with, quote, the Akashic record, or the Mother Earth's record. You want to find out what's been going on the planet and in the universe. Talk with a tree. Ask a tree to share the info. And you know, there isn't any special meditation other than you be calm, and I'll have to do a separate video strictly on tree meditation, because my angel messages as I speak and do this video are telling me that I need to help some folks out there who may be a little on the fence on some of these things. And it's like, but we need to kick this into high gear, you know. And if you've been on the you know, wishy-washy side of, I don't know whether or not tree meditation is really necessary, Hawkeye, I light a candle in my apartment, and no. It's time for some folks to, like, at least go try it, go do it, because we need that connection. And folks who are in electronic universes and cell phones, I'm not going to get on the cell phone kick, but you understand what my point about that is, that when you let cell phones and other electronic devices rule your life, that makes you part of the matrix. I choose to turn off the computer and my cell phones. I got an old cell phone over there that I could get rebooted up, but it's like, but why? The service sucks down here. Nobody wants to talk to me. You know, you guys hang out with me in the live chats and stuff. And it's like, it's not necessary. You know, I grew up in an age where, you know, a cell phone, what? I mean, you know, I grew up with dial phones and party lines. You know, you picked up the phone, and if somebody in your neighborhood was on the line, you go, oh, okay, you know, neighbor, blah, blah, blah. I'm not, you know, oh, is that you, David? Oh, I'll be done in a minute. Give me a few, let's finish the conversation. You'd hang up. You know, people used to listen in on the line all the time. Everybody in the neighborhood knew what was going on simply because everybody had a party line. You know, sometimes there were 4 families, 6 families, you know, there at some, depending on the exchange back in the old days, there were as many as eight different families on one party line. So the phone rang, but somebody else might pick it up because they got a false ring. It was really interesting. But anyway, such are the times. But I choose to turn off my electronic devices because I choose not to be a part of the matrix all the time. I use the matrix. Hi, Bob. Hi, how are you? I got my coffee here, Bob. You know, I love you, Bob. And thank you for allowing me to have another, you know, live stream video. Amazing Grace, blessings to you. Keeping Portland weird in Oregon. I have friends of mine that are out there around the Portland area. They moved from Tallahassee out there, and I love them dearly. In fact, my friend sent me. I think she sent me. Well, I know she sent the medicine card series to me. That was her own personal, and someone sent me this, and no one has stood up and said, I'm the one that sent this, but Atlas, the North American Indian. And this is a brand new book somebody sent me. And I want whoever sent this, thank you, but there's nothing in it. It was sent straight from the publisher kind of thing. So blessings. This is a $25 book plus the shipping. But anyway, thank you. I get blessings all the time. I'm not even asking for anything like this. And somebody's like, well, maybe you need this, you know. Well, thank you. It does help, you know, especially when I want to reference certain areas of the country or something. But anyway, so with that, I say thank you very much. But with the faith of the universe, one of the biggest things, maybe Bob sent it. Thank you, Amazing Grace. That anything's possible, you know, honestly. But so one of the things in your shaman journey is that you must understand that anything's possible. Bob could have sent it, right? So in my realm, I go, I kind of doubt it, but see, in my world, maybe, you know, I've seen stranger things in my life, you know, with one spaceship blowing up another. I mean, you know, okay, I get it, you know. So, but anything is possible. But to the point that it's not that you put all of your feelings and emotions into, well, what if this and what if that? No, you just open your heart and your soul to the idea that, you know, giants on Jupiter is possible. It's a big ass planet. A 50-foot giant would about fit on Jupiter or Saturn, possibly. Wait a minute. What'd you bring that up for, Hawkeye? Well, because that's something that that's a little far-fetched. But you could say, well, you know what? I don't have any evidence and then blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to say that it's possible. Somewhere out there in this big universe, Jupiter sitting out there. Maybe there were giants on Jupiter at some point. Maybe there are now. But I'm going to just say maybe it is possible, or was possible, or could be possible in the future. Who knows? But the part of the faith and of the belief in the universe that anything is possible in those respects. So you have to open up your heart and say, it's possible. Because if you go, nah, I don't believe that, nah, as soon as you start putting that negative, well, I don't know about that. Now, I throw that in, but Spirit already knows. I look up and I go, are you sure about this shit? What? Okie dokie. I need a little bit more meditation and download on this particular subject, please. A little clarification. What? Okay. But with that said, though, it's not that you can't like question, but if you say that, nah, come on, nah, if you just put it off, then in a way that ends your journey as a shaman, because you're going to block out anything that might be possible. So how can you believe in earth magic if you don't believe in that all these other things are possible? Whether it's valid or not, that's immaterial. But you have to have this basic understanding of that I can believe that that's possible. Now, I don't just mean with aliens visiting Earth or anything like that. But let's just discuss that the universe, when you go outside at night and you look up, now for those folks of the flat Earth, I'm sorry, but I just can't get the idea that I live in a snow globe. I just can't do it. But I understand your position and I love you for it. But I'm going to stick with the round Earth thing here, because that's what I truly believe. It's what I've seen. It's what my old memories. It's what the earth herself tells me, and the trees. Okay. So there's more in this than just, well, I watched a YouTube video and we were looking out the horizon. Okay, fine. I'm not cutting you. Well, I am cutting you short because I just have other information that I believe in. My faith is in other things. So, but when I look up at just the star cluster of Pleiades, which I'm supposedly from, and there are certain markers with blue eyes and this and that and blah, 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 that I may actually be a Pleiadian of long descent. And long before I knew what Pleiades was, I've been watching the star constellation as a Cub Scout, as a Boy Scout. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and stare out the window and there'd be Pleiades in the sky. But anyway, back when there wasn't many street lights in Tampa back in the early days. But to the point, though, so I've had a fascination with Pleiades. But if you ever look at it with a telescope or with even a decent pair of binoculars, you're going to see that it's not just seven sisters. It's a cluster of a bunch of stars, okay, and a bunch of whatever else is going on. So it's like in just that one little area of the sky is a whole universe. So it's like, how can I, when I look at the rest of the sky, I go, well, wait a minute. I just look at Pleiades and I see, oh, holy crap, there's stuff in there. What about the rest of the universe? How great is it? When, as an astronomer, and I've had the opportunity to look through some 10 and 12-inch telescopes, and when you see a galaxy yourself through a telescope, you go, oh shit, that's not fake. So that allows my belief and faith, because I have seen spiral galaxies through a telescope on my own and with other people, and I've seen M31 and several of these other galaxies. When you look at the Horsehead Nebula, even though it might be distance, when you see it for yourself through your own telescope, that makes you believe. And then you have faith in greater things. So, but anyway, but that's the faith part. Now, back in the day, folks just looked up at the sky. So they had to have a belief and a faith that in a way is deeper than ours right now, because in our age of technology, everything's the show me state, show me, well, I'm from Missouri. You got to show me, all right, here you go. But no one will believe until you see it for proof positive. So that's why sitting under a tree and experiencing an honest meditation with a tree, once you get that connection, and I mean, I can still feel it now, my first experience, and feeling my cells going up the tree. Oh my gosh, ooh, makes me tingle just thinking about it. And that was 40 years ago, so it's like, okay, or actually maybe longer. But to the point though, when you get these core feelings outside of who you are as a compassionate person and so forth, but when you start connecting with the compassion and the kindness of the planet, which then will connect you to the rest of the universe, when you get these connections in, your belief system goes up. Your faith increases in that all things are possible. Your faith in the creator, not just a God, but the source of everything. You understand it much like the sorcerer's apprentice. You have to see the sorcerer conjure up a smoke thing in his hand. Anyway, but it's when you prove to yourself that these things are real, when you prove to yourself that these higher realms of existence can occur and do occur and are occurring all the time. When you have the faith in the universe, you become a universal soul, and that's important. Now, I'm coming up to something, and I'm going to do a separate video on this particular topic, but I need to bring it up here because why have faith and beliefs? What does that lead to? Well, you say, well, it will obviously make you a more spiritual person. Your vibration will definitely increase. I can guarantee that. And but you have to believe in it. Now, I've said before, several years ago, I believed in a lot of this stuff, but not 100.1%. I believed it like 99%. I felt it in my bones, and I thought I had it, And on my shaman's journey, I was like, I got this. I got this. I get it. But at the same time, there was still a little part of me that said, but I'm not quite sure. Because I haven't experienced it, I held myself back thinking, well, of course it's possible, I guess. And so even my tone of voice was like, of course, I think it's, rather than sure, anything's possible. Doesn't mean that it does, but okay. So that little 2 or 3% in my own self kept me from healing, kept me from accepting other things, kept me at a lower vibration because I was still a little skeptical. Even though I was getting, good angel messages, even though the messages I was getting were, it's all been positive and all in trying to help with, my preaching, if you will, of how do we go into this new realm and in the new fourth dimension if we don't have any tools, So they're providing me with tools about how you and I can get to this. And how we can kind of drag everybody else along without them kicking and screaming, even though some of them are going to kick and scream anyway, but you know what I mean. But anyway, so I realized that even 1/10 of if you don't believe that 100%, then how can you be an effective shaman? Because part of being a shaman, truthfully, is to help other folks and to help them along in whatever way that it can. So, but if you hold back on your belief system, then you don't really believe that you can help other people. I mean, it goes really deep and really convoluted, but it's true. And so every person's different when their lifestyle and social and how they grew up and etc. So in that, it becomes complex. But it's basically very simple. Do you believe 100% yes or no? And it's not like, well, do you believe in aliens? No. Do you believe that they could exist? Yes or no? Well, no. Well, never mind. You're out of, well, yes. Not well, maybe. If you say, well, maybe, then you don't believe, see? And it doesn't mean that you have to believe that, the Arcturians or the Palladians even exist, although there's a lot of evidence. But you just to believe that it's possible. That's all you have to do. No particular race, no particular species. They're not conquering the planet. None of, just that it's possible. And say, yes, I believe it's possible. And that's it. Now, somebody says, well, do you believe that the Lemurians existed and that it sunk under the ocean, possibly out in the Pacific? I don't know about that. And as me personally saying, I'm not sure. But you know what? In the realm of possibilities, I'm going to say, well, there's some evidence and I see that. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to believe that it did exist because there are markers within society and history and things that it did, much like Atlantis. So therefore, I am still open to the idea that Lemuria existed, but I don't have any empirical data to show it or prove it. But I'm still open-minded about it. I can allow it to happen. So far, stuff's just sketchy. It's okay, but I can still believe that it's possible. All right. So I hope you understand that. But that's important because there were times when I was holding back and I was like, nah, Now, see, it's like flat earth and snow globe. I can definitely tell you, I'm sorry, I am not on that page. And because I refuse to accept it in my realm, because of all of my beliefs, not just because of this or that, or trying to put someone else down for their belief, is that I choose because the snow globe idea confines my perspective of the universe. And if I wish to understand and expand myself as a shaman and as a spiritual person, I must accept that we are beyond this idea of the snow globe thing. Just saying. So the flat earth restricts me as a shaman. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but that just goes against all grains. So I can't believe in that because if I believed in the flat earth, I'd simply, that eliminates me from being a shaman because I've eliminated all of these other possibilities. Now, let me state this. I do think a flat earth can exist in another realm or dimension. It can exist, and some of these people might have been there. Okay. So I'm open to the possibility that a flat earth does exist. I'm just not on it at the moment. Okay. So I will accept that there is a flat earth plane somewhere, and these people have a long-term memory that makes them believe the way they do, much like I believe in the globe. Okay. So, but in their realm, they can't see a round earth. Well, no, it's not round. Can't be a round earth. Well, but everything in the universe kind of cells are roundish. Water drops, when they come out, they go into spherical shapes. Oh, come on. Nature's full of circles, and you're trying to tell me that the earth can't be a globe? All right. But my point to that is that in my realm, their flat earth can exist. In their realm, a globe cannot exist. Make sense? I hope so. Because that's where you need to put your faith and your belief. You must be able to believe that there are both possible. Wait a minute. What? Well, if you need to believe in the fourth dimension, which everybody is, quote, jumping off into, Transition, my friends, not ascension. We've got to get our feet wet first. So if you're just new to some of these ideas that a flat earth and a round globe can both exist, not necessarily in the same realm, but they could both exist at the same time, just in different realities. When's the last time you heard a flat earther say something like that? See, I can include other people's realities in the universe of things if you believe that these things are possible. So if I have faith as a shaman in training, I'm still training. I must believe that it's possible. Now I'm going to move on to why is this thing about faith and belief and the possibility. For example, you reach a certain point with your meditation and so forth to where you want to sure enough help some other people. You want to send them prayers, maybe you're doing cards. And so you're trying to be a true shaman by helping others to reach their potential or heal or whatever, which is a good thing. And everybody's got to find their own foothold on this journey, on this path, to back to source. But here's the deal though. If you don't believe that all things are possible, then how can you use the power and the energy of the universe to do the healing that's in your heart? In other words, if you're going to use healing and you want to do healing for someone, where do you think the energy is going to come from? The universe. When you say, well, I don't believe in it, I'm just on a planet. Well, even so, in this universe of mine, sitting here in this chair in my house, the rain's picking up, by the way, but in this little universe of me at the moment, there's still energy here. They say, you take 1 or 2 atoms of something, and if you split an atom, there's enough energy to open up a black hole, from just one molecule if it's done correctly. So the potential energy around us is always there, whether you believe in a whole universe and a flat earth and a globe theory, the snow globe theory or not. So it doesn't matter. We're still yanking in energy from around us in order to send the healing to someone else. That's a part of the nature. If you sent the energy of yourself to someone else, you'd be sucked dry. You wouldn't have any yourself. So you must channel the energy of the universe. You must have faith that it exists. You must believe that you can use it to help another person, and to be able to suck the energy from around your spot and send a prayer across the universe to heal someone else or to brighten someone's day, whatever type of, and I'm going to use the word magic, M-A-J-I-K. That's my spelling. And because it's earth magic, it's the magic of the universe. It's the natural law of things. It's earth magic. It's universal magic. It's what it connects us all. Can you believe in that? Well, then how can you be a true shaman? If you were going to do any type of ceremony, self-healing, somebody else, you're going to light a candle, and you want to do some type of a visual ceremony that, and at times they're helpful, but not always necessary. But at the same point, you must understand that it's not your energy you're using to do the ceremony. You're tapping into the universal energy, and I hate to use the word channel because that a lot of other connotations, but I'll use funneling. You're funneling the energy of wherever around you or from the universe or whatever, so that you may funnel that energy in the direction of a prayer or healing. If you took that energy simply from yourself, you know, the energy would leave you and you'd just kind of collapse. It'd be like a vacuum, you know, be the shrunken thing, you know, a really nasty meat bag, you know. But anyway, so for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if I'm going to send energy out, then I must be able to accept energy from around me to replace that which I expended. You know, what goes out, something's got to be replaced, you know, in however you want to look at it. So you must, and these are fundamentals of physics and chemistry and natural law. And, you know, when you look at cells dividing underneath the microscope in biology class and stuff like that, you know, how things are put together, you know, on the molecular level. So, and when you look at things on the molecular level or, you know, cellular level, I'll say, but then you look up in the universe, I have to say, as above, so below. Not necessarily, but in each one of us, I am my own universe. I've got my own blood flow and my LDLs and whatever is working for me is working for me. And what may not work for somebody else, you know, it's like, well, okie dokie. But so I am my own universe in that respect. And I've got all these little satellites of cells and membranes and things, you know, working around to keep me alive and be able to, you know, to speak and have this conversation with you. So, and I have to believe that I'm capable of doing this. Otherwise, I can't do the video. I mean, there's so much in faith in myself. And I've talked about my own personal faith. You know, when I talked about Mother Mary messages, one of the last things I thought I'd ever be doing YouTube videos, talking about shamanism, talking about the Christ consciousness, and talking about the elevation of our spirit beings on this planet to a higher realm. And that's the last thing in the world I thought I'd ever be talking about. And here I am. But I was told by my higher spirits and by my Mother Mary messages, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to have these conversations. Now, I've been at this for 42 minutes and I don't have the first note. All of this is being channeled from my spirit guide and through the downloads that I've gotten over the last couple of days while I was asleep for all of Sunday kind of deal. You know, it takes a couple of days for some of these things to kind of filter out into subject matter so I can have this conversation with you. But anyway, so back to the faith and so forth. So, you know, me as a shaman in training many years ago, I was like, well, I always thought that I would be able to be good enough to be able to maybe not miraculously cure someone, like hocus pocus, you're cured, but that I could lay hands on a person and help to heal them. So I've always wished to be a healer in many ways. And I know a particular type of massage, for example, that I've not seen anyone else do. And it was taught by a certain person who worked through the Casey Foundation and way back in the day. And I was taught this special type of massage. And I'm not saying no one else does it, because folks at the Casey Foundation have taught some of these types of therapy. So other people do them. I've just not seen anyone that I've run across do them. And they're very efficient, very effective ways of massage, and how it's used and how it's done. It makes perfect sense. And it was channeled through the Edgar Casey readings back in the day. So this is, I'm aware of these older technologies, if you will, these older types of things. And now there's all kinds of new age stuff. But for example, if somebody tries to give you a massage or are giving you a massage, if they start at your shoulders and move down to your hands, get up off the table. If they start at your hips and massage you down to your feet, get off the table. They're going to do you more harm than anything. Why? Because in proper circulation, you should start at the feet or the hands and work all the blood vessels and push the blood from the veins, because the arteries feed the juice down, and the bad blood, the used blood, comes back up the veins. So what you want to do with any type of massage is start at the end of where the blood ends up and help push all the bad blood out, for example. So I've seen many people who do massages and they're like, it's a joke. There's no healing involved in it, in my humble opinion. Now, it does relax muscles and things, but if they do it the wrong way, they can actually make the blood pool in your feet and in your lower extremities and do you worse damage. So, but anyway, so, but you have to believe that there is a better way of doing some things. You have to have faith in the universe that, wait a minute, let me follow certain rules that are in the universe. And it's like, you can buck them all you want to. You can say, well, I make the decision. I have free will. Yeah, you can also be a butthole about it too. And if you want to go kicking and screaming and, well, my way of becoming a shaman, well, I know what I'm doing. Well, then your arrogance right there keeps you out of the running of what a shaman is. Because if any type of arrogance anywhere along the line, that's why I must stay humbled. And I am humbled by you folks here. And I know I saw, Quartz, you wrote something up there, and I'm tempted to read it, but I got to stay on track. And I know I love you all. And so bear with me. But it's important that you understand these things. Otherwise, how can you be effective? And if you wish to be a true shaman, then you will do these things because in your heart, you'll know it's right. But any arrogance, and it was said, it's been said by, well, any good shaman worth their salt will say arrogance is the first thing you have to get rid of. You have to get rid of ego. Now, there's a difference. And I want to put this clear. There is the ego of the self, in that, well, I'm so good I can heal you. Then there's the ego of surety within the self. How about that one? When's the last time you heard somebody say that? The surety of your soul. And you say, and you have to have ego to do it. You have to say, I believe in myself enough that I can funnel the energy of the universe and be used as a tool for the universe to heal. Versus, I got this. Let me go over here and lay my hands on this guy. I won't heal him. You know, and I've met preachers like that. I'm going to touch you on the forehead and you'll be healed. No, damn it. You gave me a headache and you made my neck problem worse. But you just didn't believe. You must have evil and the devil in you. And I'm like, no, you hit me in your forehead with your palm. You didn't do shit to me, buddy. But anyway, but so I've been around, I've been around the block a few times. Snake charmers, and when you grow up on the carnival, you see all kinds of stuff. That's why I know things about stuff in Alabama and Mississippi and places like, man. Now, not to say they still exist, but oh boy, I should just tell Carney stories some night. My 20 years in the carnival business and all the little towns we played and some of the shit we saw and got into. But anyway, but sticking on the topic of this. So you have to, each person has to make up your own mind. Well, see you later. Thanks, David. Epic topic. I'll contact rest on replay prayers. By amazing grace, blessings. Yeah, I had to look over there because I try not to pay attention. You guys know that. But anyway, thank you. Amazing grace. Always lovely to have you with us. And sharing your knowledge and your wisdom as well. Because we've all played a part in this. And, Amazing Grace might say something or Court say something. And I bring up the topic and I'm just basically the stimulation for the conversation. But Quartz, you can say something, Amazing Grace say something, and we are the collective. We are the alliance of like-minded beings, if you will. I'm still getting a big kick out of that. The allegiance of like-minded beings, But anyway, Um, um, but we have to have faith. We have to have enough ego within ourselves to say, I can do good. Now, I always wonder, I'm going to send out healing messages, and I always send them out that they're going to work. But after I send them out, maybe a day later, I will question, I wonder if it worked. I wonder if that person received that blessing. I wonder if their headache went away or the stuff, whatever the issue, maybe their woes and problems. But so anyway, I realized that I can't worry about whether or not the prayer got received. I have to have faith and belief that at some point it got there, and whether or not it cured the person and they were healed, mightily, or they could walk on water now. But to the point though, I have to believe and have faith in the universe that when I speak a positive thing for someone or for something, that it will have a positive reaction in it with the source. So in this last year, if y'all been following me, you can probably have seen a change in me, because my faith is even greater, because the more I have faith in the universal energy, the more I'm filled with the universal energy, the more I am lifted up by this energy. I mean, I had a visitor today that I haven't seen in almost 5 years, back when I was having some very nasty problems and damn near died. And my adopted grandson stopped by just to check on me because he missed me and wanted to give me a hug and sit down and chew the fat with old Pops, me, Hawkeye. And I was like, out of nowhere, and I'd been sending him prayers and stuff, and he came by and he goes, Pops, I know you send me, good prayers all the time. I can feel your love. And it's like, and I haven't seen him in 5 years, but he came down here to tell me that he can feel the love and the prayers that I send his way. Thank you. He came in person to tell me that he felt it. So, and his hugs were great. I was like, oh, I got to get another hug. And he's a giant of a man. That's why I call him Big John. But, he's like 6'4", and he's an EMT. He's helped to save many people's lives. And he's a very gentle and calm man, even though, he's big enough to just whoop your butt with one arm kind of thing. But anyway, he's a gentle giant, in my opinion, and very compassionate. And he's on a spiritual journey as a young man, that there are people my age that could learn a thing or two from him. So, and I say that, and I'm speaking well of Big John, in that when he was here and hanging out with me, I showed him how to do simple ceremonies, how to believe in more than just what the Bible, what people are saying, to believe more of that the universe, and to understand that there's more in the world than just what, people will talk about. So I expanded his mind in that respect. And we did some mushrooms a time or two between us back in them days. He had graduated high school and was trying some things out, but he realized that he didn't want to just go out and get high with his friends. He wanted to come and have a shamanic journey with his grandpa. I'm his adopted grandpa, but and so it's like, okay, if you want to do this, then I will show you, I will teach you, I will walk you through it. And so with that walk that we took 5 or so years ago, he is still walking very much with it. He uses it to help save people. He told me a story that I'm not going to repeat, but it brought tears to my eyes about a little girl that they were trying to save, and watching her die in front of his eyes, and not being able to save her, but being able to hold her hand as she passed away, and knowing that there was a higher self. And I'm like, my God, this guy's not even 25 years old, and he's dealing with these things on such a grown-up level that so many of us wouldn't even have a clue. what, you know, this man's already been through, you know, and he's still training to be, you know, to be a there are different levels of EMT, and he wants to be a PA and so forth in the medical field, and he wants to help and heal people. So, but anyway, but so he has a higher level of reality. So he's helping people to pass on when he can't save them in the ambulance. You know, I mean, oh my God, what? So in a way, he is being a shaman, even though he's younger in age. His spirit, because he believes in a higher stuff, he's able to do these things. I think it's just absolutely phenomenal. Oh my God. And he came down here to give me a hug because he missed me. You know, that's just so much. You know, talk about the universe coming in. Now, I haven't been feeling lonely in a while. You know, I get universal hugs from you guys all the time. But to the point, though, to have a physical hug from somebody that you really, really love deeply, you know, my adopted grandson, John, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, and this individual took time out, didn't tell his wife where he was going, even though it was just to come down here and spend an hour with me. But he wanted to come and give me a hug. Took his time out of his day to tell me personally. You know, you can probably tell I'm a little blown away about it. But my point to that is that there are times when, for example, am I reaching anyone with my prayers? He came down here to tell me personally that he could feel them. There you go. Do all my prayers reach all the people? I don't know, but I can't sit back and question it. If I question whether or not it helped anybody, then I'm going to question my own belief. I'm going to question my own faith. Now, if they didn't receive it, you got to accept and receive. So, you know, those folks who have, you know, asked for prayers, if I send them and you don't accept them, well, that's, you know, I gave with free will. Now, so as this part of the faith, so you got to have faith in yourself that at least you're going to do some good, at least. And you can believe that 100%. It may not perfectly cure the person, but you must believe that you make a difference. Even if it's 0.1%, you must believe that that you can make a difference, because otherwise, never forget it. How are you going to send a prayer if you don't believe it's going to do any good? If you don't believe it in yourself. And if you and the humbleness is the other side of that. There are the arrogant side of it, of people going, well, I know this prayer is going to work. You know, well, why didn't you get better? I sent you all kinds of prayers and stuff. I smudged and prayed over at Crystal, but your headache's even worse. You know, no, it didn't get to him because you're freaking arrogance. That you send it with the wrong vibration. You must send it as a humble being. In other words, what am I, if anyone thinks, what am I going to get out of this? Forget it. Because, you know, you got to take self out of the picture as far as any type of rewards. Now, I understand, like my grandson, Big John, coming by today, that's just another angel message in the flesh, if you will, that people are hearing the messages that I'm sending out in my prayers. They're folks who are listening are getting them. I got a wonderful message from my sister. And in fact, this shirt is a Christmas present for my sister because I couldn't make it to Tampa over the holidays. And she sent me a really nice card saying, thank you for the Facebook videos that I do. They love to sit around and listen to me yap about certain things and stuff. And it's like, wow. And I didn't think nobody will like the videos in my family because they don't want other people to know they might agree with things. And I find it absolutely humorous. It doesn't matter about the likes or the shares. What's matter is the people who wish to learn that this message is for you. So, I have to have enough ego to be able to talk about this subject. But I'm having this feeling right now is that, but I must assure you all that it comes for me with great humbleness that I'm allowed to speak on this subject at all. And I'm humbled by the fact that you all will hang out and listen. So, but anyway, back to the faith and the belief thing. So you say, well, Hawkeye, what does faith and belief, and what does any of this matter? Well, if you want to believe that you can be healed by the universe, if you hesitate in that, well, I'm not sure, well, then you're not, because you got to believe. Now, I'm not talking about a God on a throne. I'm talking about source energy. There is cosmic energy out there that each one of us is built of. We're all, star seeds. We've got the dust of the universe is part of our own souls. You must believe that 100%, 100.1. I'll just shove it over the needle. I just go, yep, I do. But the thing is that I can feel it in here. Before I would say I do, and there was it was getting choked. It really wasn't. I was like, I do, but I'd really like to see it, and it's like, but no, that's not it. You can't see it unless you can believe it's possible. You can't heal someone unless you believe that you can, without arrogance. It's the humbleness that heals, because you must take yourself out of this. So you funnel the energy from the universe to do the healing. Now, you have to have the faith without the arrogant ego, I will say. But the humble ego of, I'm relying on the source energy, and I'm agreeing that when I tap into that loving kindness of the universe, I can direct that energy towards this one particular soul, this one particular person, this being. So the question then remains with each one of you: where do you want to be in the journey? How much of a shaman do you want to be? I mean, we all want to think good for our relatives. Somebody asks for prayer, you go, well, I'm going to, and whether you do the sign of the cross and say a rosary or a Hail Mary or something, it is immaterial. But even as a Catholic or a Christian, if you don't believe that Jesus existed or any of that's true, then your prayers aren't going to work either. And I don't mean through the church, but I mean just basically through the belief in the Christ consciousness, And so it's like, so where does this belief bring us? Where does faith come in? Well, faith is on so many different levels. But if you just will take the universal faith that anything is possible, might not be believable, but you got to open up yourself and say, anything is dadgum possible. I'll be dang. Other universes, yep. Other dimensions, sure, I'll go with that. Did we land on the moon? Well, anything's possible. Highly unlikely, because I've been to Cape Kennedy and seen those things up close. It's a tin can. You what? It's amazing they just circled the earth, let alone go to the moon. But that's a topic for a discussion for another day. But I believe that we went to the moon in other vehicles, so I believe it in other realms, So, and like I said before, I believe that a flat Earth thingy can exist in another realm, but I believe I'm on a globe at the moment, and other people might be happy. So, the concept of two things actually coexisting on different planes of reality, to me, is a possibility, where other people are going to go, oh man, that's just hogwash. So, well, then your shaman journey is going to be limited then, because you're already blocking out a lot of truth. How can you use the energy of the universe if you don't believe that it's possible that it could exist, or that you could funnel this energy and use it for good? Now, there are a lot of people who are like, well, I want to rule over this, or I want to control something, or I want somebody to love me, or I actually, there's somebody that's on my nerves and I want to get rid of them. You know, if that's where your head is at in this, in any of this, you're not on the journey of being a shaman, because being in control is being in control of yourself. It's not the control of others. It's the control of the energy that you send to others, to how you focus it, how you know, send it out. That's what's important. And the more humble you are, the more humble the prayer, the cleaner the energy that you send out. Because if you know, if it, you know, look at the spirit as kind of like being a little cloudy water, a little bit of mud in there, you know. How can I send out pure water wavelength kind of love if I'm cloudy with a little bit of, you know, mud in the water? So you want to try to make yourself as clear as possible in that respect, you know. Let the mud settle or whatever. Around my house, sometimes you have to take a glass of water and go, well, there's a little bit too much clay in it tonight. Better let that glass of water sit. However, the clay is cleansing for toxic metals. So, you know, every time I drink water out of my well, I'm cleaning heavy metals out of my system. But anyway, but see, you have to believe in certain things. And so whether or not these things exist, okay, I'm repeating myself and I'm trying to come back around on track to where I was. So you have to ask yourself, well, how much do I want to believe? What kind of a shaman do I want to be? Do I just want to be a good person? Okay, fine. That might be all that your journey is. It might be that you're just, you know, you got a 9 to 5, but you make decent money and you help people out along the way and so forth. And that may be your journey. But to those people, you folk who are hanging out with me, you're seeking something of a higher nature. You're seeking more information on how can I be a better spiritual person, a shaman. And that's why we're having these discussions. So with this twisting of inside and out, you got to check your own faith. Well, do I believe this? Well, I don't know. Do I? Well, you know, how can I be a shaman if I don't believe? How can I believe that plants can heal? Well, yeah. Well, or can I believe that the universe can heal? Well, I don't know. Well, but I can believe it's possible. So, you know, but you have to go through this journey yourself. But I'm here to tell you that any shaman, any medicine person that I have met along the way believes in more than this, even what I'm discussing. Because when you have, you know, 66 years of, well, 55 years of practice, like in my case, you see things a lot deeper than a lot of other people. And so I sort of assume certain things because I've known them for in my heart for so long, not up here, but in here, that I go, well, wait a minute, you mean you don't have that connection? Oh, crap, man, I was doing that back in the 70s. And that's not to push blame or that I'm better. I'm just that in the grand scheme of things, I've known about this for a long time, where some people are just now becoming aware. And so I want to extend my helping hand and say, come on, folk, this is what I learned. I learned it a long time ago. So this is really good information. It's lasted me a lifetime. So I want to share it with you so you can do it however you see fit. So it is about me and my journey so that I can share it with you for your journey. It doesn't make a flip about, you know, well, you know, anyway, but and it's a hard sell. You know, there are some people who would say, well, you're doing this to promote yourself. What have I got to promote? Goodwill and love towards each other, you know, the alliance of like-minded beings. I'm gonna try to sell that one. You know, maybe I should make t-shirts. But my agenda is simple: to help other people. That is my shamanic journey, to help other folk to find their path. So my intent is clear. There's nothing else in there with my intent other than to try to make it clear as possible. So you have to decide what your own intent is. You have to understand what you want to do with the information that you're learning. How do you want to process it? How do you want to deal with it? What is your shamanic journey? So if it's just to do 9 to 5, but you got to lead a clean life. If you go to church, you're spiritual. You give to the poor. If you do these things, I'm not saying that's wrong, not a bit, you know. But for those who are seeking other things, then you must consider these basic shaman type things and beliefs of the universe. You must, because you're just not going to get there. And it's not Hawkeye's rule. It's the rule of the universe. People have asked me before, how do you get in touch with ET? You have to believe it. Well, what do you mean? Well, I was contacted by my ET buddy earlier today. Well, my grandson was here. And I was like, that was just strange, because I was told that, by my, I did a video a couple of years ago about the blue spheres in Ohio at the petroglyphs. And a being contacted me there. And I took pictures of all these different beautiful, beautiful blue spheres. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And what they told me, and that they made contact with me in Ohio at this very special place, and that he wanted me to hear his voice and have conversation with me and hear his name, so that later on, when he contacted me, I would know what he sounded like. I would know who it was. And I was like, okay. So, but today I got a message that was like, yep, it's cloudy where you're at. I mean, oh my God, they were shooting the juice to the chemtrails today. Oh my God, they were horrible. But my message was, we're up here. They're trying to hide us. And I was like, oh, really? I wasn't even looking for the information, if you will. And then this blue sphere being entity contacted me directly and went, we're up here, we're fighting a war. Just know that. I just wanted to let you know so you could tell your grandson. And I was like, whoa, that was strange. And that was it, But with that said, I was like, well, see, that's the kind of things that I get. That sometimes is just, I just wanted to check in with you and let you know we were still here. And it's a distinct thought. There's a distinct thing to it. And so I'm not trying to channel this entity, because I had to agree for him to talk with me. So now what's this have to do with faith and belief? I had to have faith that this weird thought in my head, then I had to have faith and the belief to take pictures. So the entity said, you're taking pictures of these blue spheres, because he was giving me instructions on the settings of the camera and the retarded flash kind of thing. And anyway, so that I would have proof that he was talking to me. And the pictures are to prove to other people that this being talked to me because of the pictures. It all ties in. So, but anyway, with that said, though, it was like, but I had to believe. So when I heard that today, I had to believe it was this entity, because they spoke to me in that tone or with that frequency. So, but if I'm like, well, I don't know, that's a bunch of hogwash. Why me? If I'm going to disbelieve something, I'm not going to hear a damn thing. How can I? If I don't trust my guardian angel, then who in the heck can I trust? If I can't trust my higher self, who can I trust? Now, I've spoke about this before, and I want to mention it again. There are people still out there who are trying to channel other entities. Please tell them don't. Very kindly and very calmly, please don't do that. You're asking for big ass trouble. Channel your own spirit guide only. Stay away from these rogue stuff out there. And they're asking me right now, please tell your friends. And there are some folks now that refuse to talk to me because I've warned them. Please don't do that. Your spirit guide's asking me to tell you don't do that. but you don't have enough faith in me that this might be possible, and that, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do what I want to do anyway. And then you wonder why your world is collapsing around you when you're trying to channel these other entities that don't belong in your space. And you want to know why your world sucks? Channel your own higher spirit. It'll show you how to get out of this mess. But if you're just going to go out there and want to channel random entities, then you're in trouble. Please don't. Channel your higher self. Stick with your spirit guide. Stick with your guardian angel. Stay away from these other entities. And if you know somebody who's trying to get into that, please tell them to stop and explain to them it's bad for their soul. We're talking about their immortal soul. Say, listen, I'm afraid for your immortal soul because you're tampering in somewhere you don't need to go. Because as a shaman myself, with all the training I've had, because I've tried to do this other channeling thing of other entities, and you just don't go there. It leaves a stain on your soul that at times you can't erase. I mean, I know that there is a space on my heart or soul because I dabbled in something a long time ago I had no business doing. And it's taken me a lifetime to erase that little dark spot. It's about the size of a period at the end of a sentence. That's not the point. I was messing with something in my 20s. I had no idea what I was doing. I was seeking information, but I was too far on the dark side. I was trying to prove whether or not the devil existed. I didn't want him to serve me, but I wanted to see if they existed. And then I went too far and went, oh shit. And I've been on the side of the light ever since. And not that I wanted to be in the dark side. I just wanted to see if it truly existed. But anyway, so that's the dark spot on my soul, because I tried to tread in another realm that I had no business in. And that's been 35, 40 years ago. So don't do it, and please warn your friends. They will leave a stain on your soul. And that's not you don't want it. You really don't. But you see, you have to have faith in that some of these things that I'm trying to tell you may actually be true, and say, well, now I'm using my narcissistic self, if you will. I've been there. I've seen this. Please don't do that shit. I'm coming beyond my ego and saying, I got proof. Don't do this, folks. Okay. But there are times when you got to stand up and go, you guys are just plumb wrong about this because of my experience. And now everybody has the free will to choose their own experience. But if you believe that there are dark entities out there, which exist, then you must also believe that if you tamper with the dark entities, they can get your ass. So why would you tamper with them? Why wouldn't you just stay with light beings? Why would you want to even consider, well, I wonder what that being was that, there are folks out there channeling, Charles Manson and Adolf Hitler. What is wrong with you people? Why would you, ask your spirit guide about Hitler, but don't ask Hitler. Oh my God, are you nuts? The dark stains on that soul and you want to channel it? Come on. But anyway, enough of that. But the thing is that we have to believe that can happen, which is why I've got a dark spot in my energy that got there because I didn't know any better. If somebody told me, if you even start doing this spell, you're going to get yourself into trouble. Nobody warned me. And then when I got in, I was like, oh crap, how am I getting out of this? And I realized that there was just, like I said, it's like a period. Because I dabbled in it, it became a part of me. So that's why I can warn about it. All right. So moving on with this about the belief system, the belief of who you wish to be. Do you wish to be a good shaman? Well, if you believe that you can, then refer to my yesterday's video, I think, when I was talking about the sacrifice of love. There are so many things that you love in this world, you're going to have to sacrifice if you want to be a true, sure enough, card carrying shaman. You're going to have to go through these steps, because otherwise, if you choose not to make the sacrifice, then it's just part of the deal. And my sacrifice ain't your sacrifice, and your sacrifice ain't mine or the next guy's. We all have our own sacrifices. It adds up to our own personal karma, if you will, our own personal energy. And by going inside with the darkness, when we realize, well, what should I give up? What are the sacrifices I need to make? The universe is listening. You just made a sacrifice. You could have drank 2 6-packs of beer, but you only had 2 beers, not 2 6-packs. The universe heard that because you made the sacrifice. You made a decision. You made a positive choice in your own sphere, in your own universe of self, and the universe heard it. For me, I've got a cigarette sitting over here. I've been wanting to smoke, for the last 20 minutes. I was like, well, when an hour comes, I'm going to light up a smoke. And I'm like, no, because see, I can, even though I'd like to have one, I know I don't need the damn thing. And so I'm making the choice. So creators listening to me go, see, he made the choice not to light it up, just, out of habit. So for every good choice we make on all kinds of small levels, we're adding to our overall good frequency. So even if we make the bad choices of having 2 pieces of pie instead of maybe not having any pie at all, is that the universe is like, well, you gave in. You didn't make the sacrifice. When actually the sacrifice was not overindulgence. Oh, I chose not to eat so much that I need to puke. I mean, but with that said, though, so you have to go through your life in your own self and choose what those sacrifices are, and understand there's more to the reality. So for every day that you realize that this might be actually possible. Now, I'm not talking about believe every lie you hear. I'm not talking about believing the lie, but you could believe, well, that's possible. That's all you got to do. Well, that's possible. Not to say that it's true, but that's possible. In somebody's world, that might have actually happened. That's possible. If you say, bullshit, can't happen. Well, okie dokie. Then there you go. Your shamanic journey just got cut short because of the belief of all and of everything and of all possibilities. So with that belief system, that's also how you channel your prayers, how you channel your healing. So with that said, I have the faith that I can use the universal energy, and I have the confidence, without arrogance. I have the confidence that when I send this healing, this prayer to this person, that they will receive it. Now they have to accept it. So that's, you're always hearing me, accept and receive the healing from the universe. Because how can I send you a healing prayer if you won't accept it? It just goes out there and bounces off and ends up in the galactic mix, which isn't bad. But if I send it directly to you, of whoever you may be, it's that, then why would you, so it's like if your shield is up, then how can you receive anything? Now, I've got my shield up against negative entities. They know that if they get around me, they're going to get zapped. I'm going to zap them. They can try, but they've tried so many times, they know they can't win with me. My internal light is so bright now that they don't even try to get near me. Besides that, I'm sitting beside a bunch of cast iron, and negative spirits and things don't really like cast iron. And I've got some healing crystals around here. I don't know if I've ever showed you all this crystal, but while I'm sitting here and I'm talking about it, I thought I would pull it up off the floor. This thing weighs a ton. I mean, it really does. I'm sitting beside this quartz, this smoky quartz crystal. You can see how big it is. I mean, the thing weighs about 20 pounds. I mean, it's like, this is heavy. And so this is sitting beside me all the time. You know, when I'm sitting here in my chair, I've got this big puppy guarding me. I'm using the energy of the universe and the solar system, you know, and smoky quartz is good for, especially if you're looking to find things that are hidden, if you will. It is a beautiful. Thank you very much, and it is huge. And I've got some really big rocks. I mean, for example, now just in reference, this is my smoky quartz here, and this is just my a regular quartz crystal here, but you can see how big that one is as well. And it's very clear on some areas. There are a lot of notches on the sides of these things, and depending on the notches and how they're formed on the crystal, and different people believe in different things with crystals. Um, and rather than for me to get into the semantics of what they all mean and this, that, and the other thing, let me put this thing down. And it was blown off of a piece of rock. I mean, you know, anyway. So yeah, I've been at this for a long time. I've been collecting things for a long time. And when I speak about certain things, I'm usually speaking from some type of experience. And I mean, in this physical 3D world. So it's not like I'm trying to say, like, listen, you know, believe me, because I've been there. And I want to try to, you know, help you avoid some of the bullshit I went through. You know, why not listen to your elders, if you will? You know, I wish my granddaughter would have listened. She wouldn't be in a women's prison right now for, you know, drug abuse and drug addiction. So, you know, but hey, you do what you can, right? So, but here, back to the thing about the energy and so forth. So you've got your faith in the universe that at least it could happen. You've got to have the faith in yourself that you can send prayer work out to other people. So with all of this awareness comes the ability to send the energy out to people. First few tries, it's a thought, and you're a little kind of goofy here, but as I sit here before you folk, and I'm feeling this energy coming down from my spirit guide, my guardian angel, I'm getting this really nice flood of warm, fuzzy love saying, yeah, send it out, Hawkeye. Send the message out. Because when you connect with that higher self of yours, and you get that energy coming in from the universe, you can't explain it. You know, I'm sitting here mumbling and repeating myself about things, but it's like, how do I explain this feeling? You know, and it's the warmth and how it, you know, it literally fills up my soul. You know, I can feel it in my body. You know, it's like, holy crap. You know, am I having a panic attack here? But with the faith and the belief comes what I talked about earlier yesterday or the day before about trust. Once you get these basic things, then you got to trust yourself that it's going to work, that because of your intention. So let's tie a little bit more into this. So your intention is good. I wish to send a prayer to my sister. She, you know, sprained her ankle. She's having trouble. I wish to send a healing prayer to my sister who sprained her ankle. Okie dokie. So I basically send a healing thought, boom. And it's one thing that has been taught over the years. And I've learned it myself, but then it was also taught to me by several other shaman medicine men. If you're going to send a prayer, send it quick. Send it a snap. Do it like that. Don't sit there and mull over the prayer. I'm praying that my sister will heal, and I'm going to. That gets bogged down. You're better off sending little short, snappy ones. I pray for my sister to heal. Boom. And then go on. Send that out there as a jolt to the universe. You can say it as many times during the day as you want, but to sit and mull on it will actually drag your energy down. So you pull in a short burst of energy from around you, bang it out to the person that needs the prayer, but then you go on with your day. Now, there are times when I have sat for hours and meditated for the healing of someone, but I tried to leave my body and go out to the spirit world and work in that realm. So different ways of viewing this, but if you're just starting out in this, I would suggest you just stick with the short prayer, and the rest will come to you, and you'll feel it. You'll feel when you can say, oh my God, I can meditate longer on this. Oh, I can feel the difference. Because you're going to feel results within your own self, not just in the people who may call you up and go, man, I got this. Did you send me a healing message? Like my grandson showing up today and going, Pops, I missed you so much. I just had to come by and give you a hug and tell you, I'm getting your prayers. Oh, holy crap. So there are times in the past that I doubted whether or not I was having any effect. And then there are times like today when my grandson shows up and says, yep, you are Pops. Yep, I listen to your Facebook. Yep, I've checked it on your YouTube videos when I can. Yep, I've shared a couple with some friends of mine. What? Yep, because your message is true, Pops. You're trying to teach people it's not about religion. And he's around a lot of Southern Baptists and folks, and they're all, these are the folks that you've got to be washed in the blood of Jesus or you're condemned to hell for eternity. That's the kind of people he's around. But he's been around me when I'm saying, yeah, well, but there are other things about this too. So, but anyway, but so I had to believe and I had to have faith that my prayers were being heard, but I couldn't sit back and worry about whether or not they were. I had to stop worrying because I was like, well, I don't know if they got it. I really hope they got the message. And 2 years ago, I was kind of in a mess like, well, but I meditated for an hour and I did all these things and I hope they got better. I hope they got and then I would worry for a day whether or not I was actually making any type of effect in the universe. When it's like, oh, stop it. Go, just do it. If my intent is correct or yours, with the prayer, I wish you to heal of this ailment, and my intent is positive. We just got to trust, have faith, and believe. Because otherwise, it ain't no good. It's like a bad spell, It really is. Let me put my glasses on here. And yeah, thank you, Quartz. We should all have crystals in our lives. They exist for a reason for us to use for the good of Mother Earth and the universe and ourselves. You did say that in our lives, but I'm agreeing with you. Amazing Grace says, I call crystals Mother Earth's heartbeats. Yes, but it's more than that. It's more of a universal heartbeat. Part of the crystals have Mother Earth's heartbeat, but all crystals are tuned to the universe. So I want to add an extra caveat to that, Amazing Grace. Not to say you're wrong, but there's more to it than just Mother Earth. Just keep that in mind, okay? To a lot of people, if you think, well, that's all there is to it. No, there's probably more. You just haven't stopped to let it all sink in. Court, you say, send energy to those Covington students also. I'm trying not to get caught up in the drama, but that is so disgusting. Yes, it is. And me having been a victim of 4 priests and pedophilia back in the day, this is just ridiculous. I mean, it really, I want to slap somebody. I mean, I want to slap somebody, you know, and the way they handled it, I want to slap another somebody. You know what I'm saying? And before I would have said I want to kill some, you know. But anyway, so but yeah, it angers me in so many ways. And what the Pope is getting away with right now over there, the Roman folks over there, they're not taking too kindly to this, you know, about that Argentine cardinal, because you see, the Pope is from Argentina. They were pedo boys back in the day before Beglio or whatever his name is got to be the Pope, the mayor of Rome. And so he's still got cronies back in, you know, Argentina. He yanked his friend out of Argentina so he didn't have to face all those pedophilia charges. Yeah. Go back and read some of the older newspapers. Oh, yeah. And did he pull his friend out of a bind or whatever? Yeah. And he's trying to cover it up with the rest of the cardinals at the Vatican. He's one sick son of a bitch. And I'm sorry, but he is, you know, and the people, then the cardinals and the priest around him. So this thing with the Covington, oh my God, I'm obviously praying for them. I have an addition to Mother Earth heartbeats. I wonder if you can hear the heartbeat of the universe if you listen. Yes, actually. However, Quartz, let me put this to you, and I don't want to try to confuse it, but which universe? This particular crystal right here, and here's another one. This is a double, all right? They obviously have different frequencies, okay? But the frequency of this larger crystal is obviously going to be different from this crystal. Now, you would say, well, it's a bigger crystal, it's got more power. Not necessarily. Now, I bring this up to you because if you're into true crystal lore, then every single one of these facets, let me get the light right. Every one of the facets on the crystal, every face, if I meditate on this one face of this crystal right here, that's one universe. If I focus on the face of on this face of the crystal, that's another universe. Every single face of these things is a window into another universe. So can you hear the heartbeat of the universe? I have to ask the question, which one? Our solar system? Yeah. But I just got to put that out there. Can you? The answer is yes. But the caveat is, which one? So here's another crystal. It's clearer in a way, and it's a double, so it's got different kind of energy coming off of it. But each one of those facets, each one of those flat surfaces is a realm within itself. So, you know, I've got crystals all around my house and outside and around the yard and so forth. Anyway, but with that said, so there are times if I'm looking for a specific thing, I have a smoky quartz crystal. In fact, here's one of them right here. Excuse my head in the camera. Here's one right here. These are one of the many. Now, smoky quartz, if you're trying to find your shaman self, the think of the smoke in the quartz as being smoke and mirrors, or being part of the veil. There's smoke covering up the truth. If you focus on and use a smoky quartz crystal, then you're going into you're going into realms that are veiled. You know, just think of walking through the you know, smog, fog, whatever, you know, on the ground going through a swamp in a movie, or you know what I'm saying. So, you know, you're in this other realm. It's not necessarily darkness, but where things are hiding. And so smoky quartz, when you use, if you use them correctly, then it will help you in those realms that are smoky and hidden. Okay. And we'll teach you history where other crystals are used for other means, if you will, and for healing or something. It's like, for example, I would never use the smoky quartz on in a healing ceremony unless I was trying to heal someone's past life or something in their spirit that was being hidden. And it wouldn't be so much as to heal them of it, but it would be to find the malady. So I would use a smoky quartz crystal to find what the malady may be in a person's darkness, if you will, and always with their permission, to say, okay, what is this darkness that is hidden within you, and allow this crystal to bring it out. Now, that is healing in itself, of understanding what darkness and hides and how you defeat the darkness within you, and so forth. But it's not necessarily a healing stone per se. So if somebody's like, "Whoa, I got this," you know, and they're spouting off with something, and I'm going to heal you with this, don't do it. Sorry. You know, and something else. If a crystal has been handled often by several people, then it's picking up the energy of every single person that handles it. So I have certain crystals that's like, I'm sorry, but you can look at it, but you can't touch it. And I mean no disrespect, but you can't touch this crystal. Because the person who wishes to see it, you know, I'm wary of their energy. And I damn sure don't want my crystals picking up on it, you know? Especially if I'm using it for any type of divination or healing or, you know, clairvoyancy, or I'm just going to meditate with this rock and see what comes out, or anything along those lines. But again, though, here it is again. Well, you can say, well, the crystal's just a crystal. Well, but can you believe that every one of those facets is a different realm? Can you believe that in each one of those is a different universe? Can you believe that? Well, you could at least, you have to go with the premise, well, anything's possible. Now, whether or not it's true, you got to find out for yourself. And I've had several, I've got so many crystals, but anyway, I had one particular, and I was focusing on one side and then another and then another. So each night that I meditated with a candle, all I wanted to do, all I focused on was that facet of that crystal. Same crystal, just a different side. And I'd say, show me what you got. And I just stare in it, you know, find peace, look at the reflection of the light and how it shimmers on the thing, and allow the crystal to take me into that world. Oh my God, the surprises, you know, like, wow. But if there have been times when, especially early on, I could feel myself being pulled towards the crystal. And the first thing is like to do, the first thing you want to do is object, you know, oh shit, no, you ain't taking me in there. And so it's like, I had to have faith in the crystal, because if I've cleansed the crystal, smudged it, and it's now, quote, mine, in that I'm the only person whose energy it's sharing in this realm, I have to trust the crystal, because if it's the wrong crystal, I'm not going to be able to hold it in my hand. It'll jump out of my hand. I've put crystals in some people's hand and they literally jumped out. It's like, oh, well, you don't want to be with that person. Their energy's wrong. Got that one wrong. But you must allow yourself the belief that, well, I'm just staring at a rock. Well, then you're not going to get there. But if you can say, well, this is possible. And if I look in there and allow you, it will take your reality into that realm. Otherwise, how can you go there? And it kind of feels like a sucking, like in the movies where you see where the person being sucked into a wormhole. It's kind of like that, but not quite. But the first couple of times it happened, I was like, what the hell? And I didn't get where I was supposed to go. because I wasn't used to this, the feeling of the crystal drawing me into its realm so I could see that universe and so that I could experience walking in there. So, but once I understood it, it was like, well, then it was really easy to go within the crystal and allow, you know, that universe to be shown. Oh boy, there's some interesting things I just got to say, but you have to be willing to say it's possible. So back up here, indeed, you are correct. I work with crystals on many levels. Thank you, Amazing Grace. I like to keep, you know, keep it simple. Yeah. Or people think I'm bragging, but I walk with certainty upon my shamanic path. Very good, um, AG, Amazing Grace. David, if you have an email address, I could share with you some of the modalities I do, would give you a better understanding of me. My Well, I think I can type it in here. Hang on, hang on. DWNull52 lowercase at gmail.com. That's my email address. Now, Amazing Grace, understand that I'm brain dead a lot of times. And so it might be 3-4 days before I check an email. And just, it depends on what's going on. So please understand that. I beg you, sometimes I'm brain dead. And it's not that I'm trying to ignore you or anything like that. It's just I haven't got to you. And if you're in the chat at some point and you can say, hey, I sent you an email, did you get it? Well, that will, prompt me to go in Gmail. But I get so much crazy spam and crap. I'm like, very seldom does anybody send me anything that's worthwhile. I'm not complaining. It's just fact. And that it's like, so if I don't check it for a week, who cares? But then it gets so full of this other crap. I'm like, and that's with the filters and all that kind of stuff on. No worries. We all have lives. Well, Amazing Grace, I don't have a life. My life is this. My life is this spiritual journey. My life is speaking with the elementals and so forth. So this is my life. But to that point, yeah, we all have one. And it's just that sometimes I'm just not on this plane of reality. I don't know why. I do realize, though, that I've been getting certain information that I need to share with you all about some of these things. So I thank you for hanging out with me. Well, it's been almost 2 hours, and I honestly didn't think I had that much to say, but you all helped draw some of the conversation out of me, and thank you for that always. And whatever you share with other people, share the love with other people. There's going to be I'm going to have another topic coming up soon that is basically how do we do better? How do we fix this? How do we continue to fix this? Quartz, you're always welcome. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And Quartz, let me see if I remember this. You're from the Spokane area, right? Just trying to do a remembrance thing here, like where are, it's, there are some people like, well, I want to know where you live, thank you. But it's more of my curiosity because I've always been, looked at the globe as a kid, and I've, been into mapping as a Boy Scout and so forth. And have a blessed evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bob and Quartz. Absolutely. Don't forget Bob in this equation. Thank you, Amazing Grace. So let me close with a prayer before you all go. I love you all very much. I do. Continue to spread the love and the joy. Continue to spread the compassion. We are making a difference. And every single positive intent that we put out into the universe is having an effect. So I pray that each one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations will accept and receive the blessings from the universe, that you will attain your higher self, and that you will become a part of the source as we all are, and that you will receive the energy from the universe. So thank you very much. Have a blessed morning and a great day for tomorrow, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you, Amazing Grace, Quartz, Bob, and everybody else. Thank you, and good night. Ta-ta for now. TT.